Well, hi everybody, this is Angelo Quinones and you reach Zion Ministries. Zion Ministries is designed to give you dependable and accurate answers that come straight from God's holy and inspired word, the Bible. The Bible, and I used to say post-pai, but man, I'm telling you, I'm going through a typhoon right now. So I could say what's happening with to you guys, but what's happening over here? This is the key element. But post-pai anyway, and I hope everybody's doing well at the sound of my voice. But I mean, I'm in the Philippines here, having relocated to this country from America 3 years ago, in 2018, and I'm here now, and I'm going through a typhoon. I mean, it's the beginning stage of it, so you hear just a lot of wind, you can hear it in the background. You hear a lot of wind and a lot of rain and a lot of leaves or branches, swaying and all that stuff, and you know, if this is my last study in my life, I don't know, but I rather make it an exciting one, make it an exciting exit. So Exodus, I think is the Greek word. So, well, we're dealing with the full reconstruction, and actually the hurricane of the typhoon. I went through a hurricane, the one in 2012 in New York City. I went through that, and before that, I lost my mom on May, either 16th or 17th. Whoa, my God. Something fell over here. Wow, that's just a pole. My God, wow. That was dangerous. Wow. I shouldn't have put that there. Wow. So I mean, wow, that's just something falling already. So yeah, I just put like a stick to hold the, because we don't have any windows here. So I have like a plastic screen, and I had a stick, like a big broom mop stick, holding it back a little bit, and it almost hit my head. So I don't know. It's a good do a Bible study now. I should have done actually Psalm 29, the Psalm of the Storm. It would have been more appropriate. But there were no storms at this time. No storms at all. I don't even know if there was out of space at this time. So what was it there in eternity? What did they look at? I know they were facing each other, and we'll get into this of John 1:1 and the full Greek construction. But when they were facing each other, okay, they were seeing each other. But what else they were seeing around themselves? Was it just the glory of God that they were, of course, enveloped in? I mean, their own glory. The glory that you have, that I had you before the foundation of the world, said Jesus, right? In chapter 17, around verse 5. But I mean, what else did they see? I know the Holy Spirit was there also with them, right? But there weren't anything. There weren't anything else before creation started, right? I mean, no angels, no nothing. No sun, moon, stars, no Milky Way, no sombrero galaxy, none of that. But so what was there? Well, anyway, that's a good question. Energy in halagos, kai halagos in prostantean, kai theos in halagos. Energy in halagos, kai halagos in prostantean, kai theos in halagos. Or, in the modern sense, that was the biblical pronunciation of the standard. This is the modern pronunciation quote. Energy in ologos, ke ologos in prostanteon, ke theos in ologos. Okay? Energy in ologos, que ologos in proston theon, que theos in ologos. Energy in ologos, que ologos in proston theon, que theos in ologos. Okay, I mean, so we're dealing, unquote, by the way, okay? So we're dealing with the full Greek construction of this. And we saw actually the full Greek construction like A through B. And for the first time, we actually were, we were looking at every single word and every single construction and everything that it is in Greek. Okay, so I mean, we'll go through it again rapidly because we already hit part A and B, and we just have to do part C. Okay, now of course we're doing this to actually reach or defeat Jehovah's Witnesses. That's what we're doing it for. Well, primarily we're doing it for the glory of God. But I'm just saying, in a secondary sense, man, we're getting to know this full Greek construction of this verse and everything that has to do with discussions between us Trinitarians, born again Trinitarians, by the way, and JWs who think they're witnessing for Yahweh, but they're not. Okay, probably don't even know how to spell Yahweh. You know what I'm saying? In the original. Magic wheat and corn. I mean, the Great Pyramids of Egypt is on par with the Bible. Can you read Greek, Russell? Yes. Can you read it? Okay, no. So he perjured himself in court. All right. And I'm telling you, man, this is what we do. Nobody was gonna go to the moon, and 24 people did. I mean, come on, guys, can't make it up though. Even the $6 Million Man went to the moon. Okay. Colonel Steve Austin. I mean, you know what I'm saying? But I'm just being facetious, but still. I mean, the witnesses are worse than the Knicks, and that's bad. New York Knicks, by the way. So hopefully, I mean, I still have a roof, guys. Thank God. You understand what I'm saying? My baby evacuated. My wife evacuated also, and they're in, they're in, it's like a strange noise. They're in the town, and then so I mean the police are protecting them, stuff like that during this, typhoon Odette, Odette or something like that, or whatever. I didn't check out the spelling. So it's 2021 and December 16th, 2021. What a year, huh? What an awful year, I'll tell you. Awful year. I mean, my baby almost lost her life. I mean, she had seizure attacks, and lost breath several times. I mean, more than 20 times already, or whatever it is. I lost count. It has been a hideous year. So, but with all that, I mean, the work of the Lord still continues. Now it's kind of calming down a little bit, though. So probably it'll start up again. All right. Now, so I was saying that, we looked at this full Greek construction, and we were looking at it. So let's look at it again. Now, we were looking at the first word here. You have 17 Greek words, 14 or 15 different Greek letters, and around more than 50 Greek letters in total. Repeated letters and stuff like that. But 5 Greek words in John 1:1a, 7 in John 1:1b, and 5 in John 1:1c. Now, so the deal is, okay. And that fan overhead, on the ceiling roof. I mean, I hope that don't fall on my head, during this typhoon. This is a bad place to be. Okay. I mean, it got a strong hook, but come to think of it, man, this is a dangerous place to be in. Right here in this room. I mean, that's just scary, guys. It's scary. But I'm trusting in the Lord that I'll be okay. You know what I'm saying? Now, this is gonna be a short study because I want to save my battery power because the battery is at 60. No, it's not like that now. Let me see what it is. 63. So basically, I want it at 60 by the time I finish the study. Because I have to save the power for emergency calls or whatever the case may be. Some time information, maybe potential extra potential flashlight. I could use that right over here. You see the flashlight right over there. So I mean, Anyway, so okay, so we looked at the preposition "n," and that's a preposition. Okay, spelled out epsilon and nu. I know it looks like a V, but just think of it like a capital N that lost the first leg, and then you'll think of it as an N, you know what I'm saying? And so if you see something that looks like a small V in Greek, there is no V in Greek, biblical Greek. You know what I'm saying? There is none. I mean, there is in modern Greek, the vita, is a beta, but the vita, they call it vita, and they could use it for a B or a V, like the Hebrew word. I think it means you're welcome, though. I'm not sure. Bevakasha. I might be mistaken about that, so check me out. But bevakasha has two baits in it, two B's. The second one, they use it as a V. You understand what I'm saying? So it's like that. The modern beta is called Vita, and they can use it as a B, like Biblos, or V, like victory. So, and it's a preposition showing you the relationship between two words. Okay, I think some people are fortifying their homes a little bit more. Okay, all right. So, showing you the relationship between logos and arche, that he was in the beginning, and we saw that. We saw that preposition spelled out epsilon and nu, or en. And then we saw the paradigm. Well, actually, I recited it. The paradigm is very easy. Paradigm to recite in the singular. There is a plural part of the paradigm. And you see one of the plural forms ending in alpha, sigma, archas in Hebrews chapter 1, verse 10. It is really beginnings there. Okay, so there is a plural part of the paradigm. You know what I'm saying? But this singular arche is spelled out alpha, ro, chi, eta. Now pronounced alpha, ro, chi, eta. Okay, so the eta is the eta. The ro is the problem. It looks like a P. It's not a P. It's the second Greek word to the right of the one. Remember, you read Greek from left to right, never from right to left, unless you're breaking up the actual word itself. You know what I'm saying? And looking at it and parsing it and analyzing it and dissecting it, or whatever the case may be. Separating the case ending from the stem when it comes to the noun, and separating everything when it comes to the verb. You know what I'm saying? So the roll looks like a P, but it's not a P. There is no P letter that looks like a P in Greek. There's a P-looking letter in Greek but it's not a P. It's an R. Okay, like in Roof, Ralph, and Randy. You know what I mean? And then you have the X-looking letter. It's not an X. There is an X letter in Greek, but this is not it. So it looks like an X, but it's not an X. It's an actual guttural. It's a CH. Chi. Chi is actually like the chet in Hebrew, and sometimes cough makes that sound also, I believe. You know what I'm saying? So you got some gutturals in Hebrew as well, just like this chi, this cough letter in Hebrew, in Greek. Okay, and then you have the eta, nowadays called eta. It looks like an M, and it's not an N, it's an E. So that's way off for us English-speaking people. Greek word arche is found 55 times, and I told you about that. Semantic range includes, arche, the meaning, arche, and or beginning, and rula, or rule. You know what I mean? Principalities. All right. So we saw that this is a horizon. I believe it's a horizon pointing you to time, the beginning of time, really, and eternity, and that Logos was in time. In the beginning of time, but also he was in eternity. And the Greek word ein that's coming up actually proves that point. Now, the Greek word ein is a small word, is below the one. It's spelled out eta with the soft breathing marker. Now, remember in Greek, you got two breathing markers, or marks. You have the rough breathing, which produces an H sound, and the smooth breathing, which shows you there's no aspiration, no sound. Okay, no H sound. Okay, so you either have an H sound in the beginning of a vowel or you don't. And so this marker proves that you don't. It's like a closed quote. It looks like a closed quote above the Greek letter eta, which is an E class, like in the word they. And so if you're looking at something that looks like a little tiny N, it's not an N in Greek. Just remember that. It's an E class, like in the word they. Okay? Now, there's the V-looking letter again, and remember what I said about that. If you're looking at that, something that looks like that, either in modern Greek or in biblical Greek, you are to pronounce it like an N sound, like in Nancy. So that's actually ein. Now, this is in the imperfect tense. You also have tenses in Greek. And it's an incompleted action. It's a continuous, ongoing action that this Greek word ein is showing. The Hebrew equivalent is haya, okay? And haya actually is used to translate this Greek word ein. Um, and so that's what is used, and it does the job very well because it's also the imperfect tense. So you have tenses in Greek. You have the aorist tense, the imperfect tense, the present tense, the future tense, and the perfect tense. I hope I said it correctly. The perfect tense, the imperfect tense, the aorist tense, the future tense, and the present tense. Okay. And so this is the Greek word, aim. It's an aiming word. It's a to be word. It's very different from egeneta, which is not a to be word. It's a word that points out that something came into being or someone came into being. That's not for logos here. It doesn't say enarche egeneta ha logos. In the beginning, the word became or began to be. It doesn't say that. It doesn't say enarche epoiesin hate as tan lagan. In the beginning, God created the logos. Okay. It doesn't say that. Now, this would have been a perfect opportunity for Yahweh to actually say that Jesus is a creature, or Logos is a creature. You understand what I'm saying? But he didn't do that because he's not a creature. He was never created. Only his flesh was made. And by the way, he had a part in that because he made Panta. He made all things. And that's recorded over here. And Panta is spelled out P alpha nu tau alpha. And the alpha is pointing out the plurality in this word. All things. Okay? Good. I believe pos is the lexical form. Now, we saw the article as weak demonstrative. Ha, right? That's the second word after the ain, or een, it's now pronounced. And it's a weak demonstrative. An article is more flexible than people give it credit for it to be. It could be a pronoun, that one. It could be used for special definiteness. O God, right? There's a different kind of O in biblical Greek with special force, and that's the inflectional particle. That's the omega, and then I believe the soft breathing and the circumflex and stuff like that. But that's an O, like Old Timothy, and found and recorded in 1 Timothy chapter 6 and verse 20. Also see Matthew chapter 15 verse 28, and I saw that in a manual grammar of the Greek New Testament by Dana and Manti, which is my favorite Greek manual. Now, there are several other manuals, and I can get into that maybe in this study or the other study that will come after this one. So the article can be used also as a function marker. So the articles are it has 24 forms. Haeta, tutes tu, toteto, tanten tan. Those are the singular, and the plural part of the paradigm goes something like this: hoi hai ta, ta with an alpha this time, because it's plural. And then ton ton ton, and tois tais tois, and tus tas ta, and also with an alpha. Okay, so you have to remember that paradigm absolutely correctly. Okay. Incidentally, arche, the paradigm for that is, I think I didn't mention it today, but arche with an eta. There is no, case morpheme, okay, for first declension, words like this, okay, and then you have for the genitive singular arches with a sigma. There's a case ending there, and then you have arche, and this has the little tiny I. That's the case morpheme for the dative case, okay, and then archein. With a nu. Okay, with a nu. By the way, going back to ain, that's in third person form, by the way. Now, Logos is here, okay, obviously, and he was only God, I hate to say at this time, but at this time, okay? And he became man, so he took upon himself an additional nature, not losing the God nature, his essential nature, his original nature, if you will. Nobody giving him that nature. You understand what I'm saying? Huparkon tells you that he was subsisting in the form of God. Has en mafe teu huparkon, and so thank God the storm calmed down. So, no, because you're worried about flying objects on your head. You know what I mean? I don't have a helmet on. I should buy an army helmet, a real one. at least get a motorcycle helmet or something, some kind of construction helmet. You know what I'm saying? During these times, if I want to stay in the house. So Logos is spelled out. It looks like a capital A, but it's not capital A. It's not. It's a capital L in Greek, capital Lambda. Some people pronounce it Lambda. I don't know why, but they pronounce it Lambda. You know, but I pronounce it Lambda because the alpha's an R. I mean, sometimes it's an A also. I don't know why that is also. But but the thing is that you have Omicron. I'm not saying it's wrong, but I'm just saying, I don't know why. Okay. And then you have an Omicron, so that's the first syllable. Nowadays called Omicron, right? La. And then the acute marker, the accent marker. The accent of the word is on the first syllable, la. Okay, you don't have to be so dramatic, but la. And then the second syllable is gas. Gamma, Omicron, final sigma. I think someone said there are only 2 forms for the sigma. That's not true. There are 3 forms for the sigma. And the storm is kicking up again, the typhoon. You heard that, right? And because you have final sigma, then you have a small version of sigma that can be anywhere except for the last portion of the word. And then you have the capital sigma. So you have 3 forms. And if you want to count another form, you have, what do you have? You have a capital C looking letter, which is a sigma, according to the ancient manuscripts like Sinaiticus and Vaticanus and all that other stuff, Sinaiticus or whatever you want. Okay? And we already went through that logos is in the nominative case. So you have the stem or the root of the word logos, right? Which means what? Logic, reason. I mean, it's in the word theology. You got theology. So you have theos there and study, right? Ology, So you have theos and logos there at the same time. And so you have the root here, loga, I should say, and in the case ending or morpheme or inflection, and making it into the nominative case. Okay, so the paradigm for logos is easy. That's logos in the nominative, lagu in the genitive. Lago, and you see that in Psalm 32, verse 6 in the Greek Septuagint, to lago, by the word of the Lord, And I believe that's to lago tu kuriu. And for the accusative, you have lagon or lagon, whatever, it's hard to say. Then for the plural part of the paradigm, you got your lagoe, lagon, lagoes, and lagus. So that's the paradigm for that. And then we saw, okay, that the Greek word ain is coming up, and to mention a little bit further of the Greek word ain, and that's the declarative indicative actually independent clause, the first clause. You got 3 clauses here, and this has to do with a declaration of a simple projected fact, okay, by the Holy Spirit through John. Okay? It's not a subjunctive, like the word might have been in the beginning, or the word might be in the beginning. It's not anything like that, or maybe in the beginning. No, it's not subjunctive. It's a declarative indicative. It's a declaration of a simple fact. It's in the indicative mood. Okay. Now, getting back to the Greek word aim, because it's mentioned 3 times here, and once in the upcoming clause. Before I get to the upcoming clause, the first clause has to do with subsistence. That's the title I gave it. Subsisting. Okay, now the second title, John 1b, has to do with intercommunion/relationship. That these 2 persons here, Logos and Theos, had a great intimate relationship. You know what I'm saying? Greek word ain is pointing out Not that he was subsisting continuously, like John 1:1a says, and it does say that, but that the relationship is actually continuous. That's what I pull out of this. That the relationship between Logos and Theos actually was a continuous, ongoing, eternal relationship. Okay, linear. Okay, relationship. Because also this in the imperfect tense, the Greek ordain. You know what I'm saying? Now we saw that the upcoming what actually is a preposition like n, and meaning like n that they're prepositions. But after that, I mean it's different because this Greek preposition pros takes the accusative case. The Greek word n takes the dative case, the case of interest. The Greek word pros spelled out p, rho, omicron, sigma, or p, rho, omicron, final sigma, right? With a graph marker this time. So it's not pros, it's pros, okay? One syllable. And pros is showing you the relationship that that Logos had with Theos, okay? It's pointing you the relationship that those two persons had. Remember that the first preposition n, the object of the preposition is arche, by the way. It doesn't have an article, the object of the preposition, because it doesn't need one. It's already definite by nature. So it doesn't need te. And arche, actually, n is showing you the relationship between logos and arche, but the preposition pros is showing you the relationship between logos and theos. Okay? So that's why you need a preposition, though, because you need a preposition to show the relationship between two persons, and it does it perfectly here. It's translated with in several translations, okay, but it could be also translated facing, like Julius Armanti says in his commentary of the Gospel of John. Greek commentary, by the way. So you have ton here, and that's another form of the article. You have 24 forms of the article. Ton is in the accusative case. Accusative singular masculine construction. It's showing you, okay, all right. Is in the accusative case. It's showing you limitation. It's modifying theon, right? And theon is also the accusative singular masculine construction. Not to be confused with theon with an alpha that means goddess in Praxis Apostolon. Actually, the Apostles chapter 19, around verse 37 or 27 or whatever that case may be. Sounds the same, theon, but it's not. With an omicron there, it's with an alpha. So there is a feminine side of the paradigm and already went through it, So it's probably thea, theos, thea with an iota subscript, and theon. That's probably, we know two of those constructions appear in chapter 19 of Acts, and the other constructions probably appear in the Greek Septuagint in one way or another. Now you saw the theos paradigm. You have theos, theou, theo, theon, or anthe, by the way. Okay, the, and that's in the vocative. Hatheos can be in the vocative also, by the way. See Hebrews 1:8, like I said before, and Hebrews 10:7. And other, it probably appears like 8 or 12 times in the vocative hatheos in the Greek New Testament. Now, what is the object of the preposition? Well, the object of the preposition, okay, is theon, just like arche is the object of n, that preposition there, found and recorded in the previous clause. Now, this is an independent clause. This is a clause that makes sense in and of itself. It doesn't need anything else. Okay. Right now, I said that theos is found over 1,300 times, and in the Greek New Testament, and probably over 2,000 times in the Greek Septuagint. Okay? Theos here is who we now know as God the Father, Okay, and Logos here is who we now know as God the Son. Okay. Incidentally, Logos is called God here, and that Theos construction is in the predicate position, and so it doesn't need an article to be definite. Okay, predicate adjectives sometimes are in the anarthrous state, meaning it doesn't have an article, and that's just that is a regular thing. Okay, as I turn on my flashlight to see if I still have power for the. There's no power here anymore, so they turned it off just for safety purposes. Ooh, that's the roof making noise. So there's some. I have to cut down those branches. That are over the roof of this house. So that's just it's knocking, and that's not good. It's not good that it's knocking on the ceiling. That's not good. If it continues to do that, I'm gonna cut it down myself now. Okay, I'm gonna find a knife and cut it down. It's a banana tree or whatever it is, so it's easy to cut. It's not easy to cut down, but I mean it is possible. Hopefully the wind does the job for me, and I don't have to go out and do it. So, en er geen halagas kaya halagas in prostantean. Let's get into John 1c. Okay? By the way, before I do that, I want to say that there's an article in front of Logos in John 1b, and an article in front of the word theon, ton, also in John 1b. And that's pointing out that these two are persons. These two are persons. They're different persons, distinct persons, by the way. Okay? Whoa. The wind is really loud. Let's see. Wait for a second, guys. Let me check out the kitchen. Oh, okay. Okay. Thank God. Whoa. That was a gust of wind. That was a gust of wind. A gust of wind. Oof. It's scary stuff, guys. It's scary stuff. John 1:1 and a typhoon, for God's sakes. This is the most exciting Gospel of John you're ever going to hear. I'll tell you that right now. All right, now what was I saying? Okay, energein halagas kaya logos in prostantean kaiteos in ha logos. And I'm telling you, I'm going to get some windows next year, guys, when I have some money, okay, to get them, okay? I just constructed this home. It's made of cement blocks. Pure cement blocks, no wood or nothing like that, except for some beams across the top of the window cutout. They did that, but after that it's just blocks. And I have to finish cementing within the house and outside the house to even fortify it even more. And one day get a flat roof, cement, cement roof, flat roof, so. Because there's openings now, triangle openings, and water can come in like that. But like I said, my baby is out of here, my wife is out of here, and that's all I care about, So let me look at the. I hate to do this, but let me just look at the battery, guys, because I want to look at the. I want to make sure. So it's probably less than 63. All right. Let me see here. Yeah, 56. So I better go soon, guys. Okay. I'm sorry to cut this off, but let me finish the construction. And again, let me just reiterate that the construction of the first clause, and it's spelled out epsilon and nu, or en, and that's a preposition. Arche is part of the prepositional phrase. Okay. It's the object of the preposition, and so the thing is that arche is spelled out alpha, rho, chi, eta, and it's found 55 times in the Greek New Testament. Ain is an Amy word, okay, is in the imperfect tense, and it's spelled out eta and nu. And then you have the article ha, that's kind of easy. It's an O with a little rough breathing mark over it. It looks like an open quote, but it's not. It's just telling you that there's an H sound in front of this O. So it's ha, now pronounced o, like in O Canada, but we're not talking about modern Greek. We're talking about basically more biblical Greek than anything else. And then you have logos, also pronounced logos in modern Greek, but biblical Greek. So you have lambda, omicron, gamma, omicron, and final sigma. Okay, capital lambda, by the way. And then you have ain again, and then you have a second preposition. Actually, the Hebrew version of it is im in the 1817 Hebrew New Testament. You know, Bereshit haya hadabar, v'hadabar haya im, ha-Elohim, wa-Elohim, or va-Elohim really doesn't make a difference to me, haya hadabar, okay, how you pronounce the word and. With a wa or what with a W sound or a V sound, you know, different strokes for different folks, you understand what I'm saying? So after that you have, again, pros, which is a preposition showing you the relationship between logos and theos. There was a intercommunal relationship. That's why the second title is intercommunion/relationship. Okay, that title that I have for this part of the verse, part B, or part beta. Okay, spelled out P, Rho, Omicron, nowadays called Omicron, and final sigma. It's a preposition. One of 17 small prepositions in the Maya Greek grammar of the Greek New Testament by Dana Manti. And can I remember all of them? I can remember like 11. Para, pra, pros, en, ek, anti, ana, peri. I think I mentioned that already, so I'm cheating. You know, meta, hupa, kata. So, I mean, you know, I don't know how many were there. And actually, that manual says that they were probably meaning the prepositions were probably adverbs. Makes sense. Makes sense. And then ton is here. So 2 of the 24 forms of the article are present. There is no indefinite article in biblical Greek. There's no enas and mia, ena. I mean, nowhere in biblical Greek. Okay. You can tell that. You can say that to the witnesses. There's no indefinite article. Okay, in biblical Greek, and there's no indefinite article. Okay, all right, in John 1:1c, which I affectionately call the Caesarean section. Because to be born again, you're going to believe in the full deity of Logos or Logos. Praise God for that. And archein halagos, kai halagos, in prostanteon, kai theos in halagos. Hope I said that right. Anarchy or anarchy in halagos, kai halagos in prostanteon, kai theos in halagos, and let's get to that. Kai is the linking word here. It's already used in John 1. It was already used in John 1:1b, linking B with A. So it's a sort of linking. It's a linking word, right? It's a linking word. Copulative, connective is a conjunction. You have several conjunctions in Greek. Okay, and this is one of them. Spelled out Chi, Kappa, Alpha, Iota. That's kind of easy. Kai, right? And so the Hebrew version of it is Va or Wa, right? Nowadays it's Ve, like Yeshli Ach Ve'achot. I have a brother and a sister, you know? Achot is sister and Ach is brother. Yes, sometimes they do behave like that. So, meaning and, it has a semantic range, both, and, also, even, you know what I'm saying? And so, John 1:1c is linked to John 1:1b because there is a progression of thought. Not only did he subsist, okay, eternally, continuously, and timelessly, John 1:1a, but he was with another person in intercommunion/relationship, that John 1:1b. But John 1:1c comes to tell you that even though he subsisted with another person called God, he also was God. He also had the very nature of God. And theos in a predicate position is showing you that. Theos is spelled out theta, epsilon, omicron, nowadays called omicron, final sigma. Why do you say final sigma? Well, there are final letters in Hebrew, just like this. You got final mem. It's a special M that goes at the end of a Hebrew word, like Elohim, Susim, Cherubim, Banim, Seraphim. You know, all of those words, and with a M, with a special M, Mem Sophit. And so it's no different with this. I mean, it's a special sigma or S at the end of this Greek word, and And the S is a case ending. It's a case morpheme. The word inflected because it's being used as in a very specific way in its context. It's being used, okay, not as a subject of the sentence, okay. We already have that in logos, but and logos all the way through is a subject of each independent clause. But theos is in a nominative because it's the predicate, okay, this adjective describing, okay, the nature of logos. Okay, so that's why it's in the, logos is in a nominative, so the predicate adjective is in a nominative construction also. Okay. Now, theos is in the beginning of the sentence, and so it's showing a great force. Okay, it does that when it's in it was in the position that it's in, and it's in a predicate position because it's a predicate adjective. And if some people say A equals B, some people have it as a convertible. Some people don't see it like that. So I just have to mention that. What God was, the Word was. I mean, and God was the Word, or the Word was God. But Manti disagreed with that when he was talking to Walter Martin. So anyway, I spelled out theta, which actually means divine. Actually, theta is called theta nowadays, but it means divine in and of itself. I'm not saying that everybody who has that theta letter, automatically is God. No, I'm not saying that, or divine. I'm just saying that it means, in and of itself, it means divine. Okay? Just like alpha and arche means rising, sigma and logos and theos means to synchronize. I mean, so I guess that's why it was used as a future tense formative. We use will, but the Greeks sometimes use an S in a word to point out the future. That's why it's called the future tense formative, the sigma. Okay, because it means to synchronize. I think that's why it was used. Now, so theos is the root, okay, in theon and theos, but they use case endings. In theon, they use the case ending, putting it in the accusative case, the case ending nu, nowadays called ni, and putting it into the accusative case. So you see that one letter can change the case, okay? It can change the case. So a sigma will put theos in the nominative case construction, not necessarily as the subject of a verb. It's not necessarily the case as that's the case all the time. I already mentioned that 8 or 12 times. Okay, in the Greek New Testament, hatheos is not the subject of the sentence, but it's a vocative, oh God. That's not the subject. The subject in Hebrews 1:8 is the throne. That's the thronos. That's the subject of the. Well, there's no verb there, but I mean, you know what I'm saying. Right now, so I already mentioned that there's different kind of adjectives, or predicate adjectives, attributive adjectives, adverbial adjectives, and substantival adjectives. Adjectives acting as nouns. Substantival adjectives. You know what I mean? It's picking up again, guys. That's it. And to finish, and then we'll look at this even deeper. You have theos in ha logos. There is an article in front of theos in manuscript L. It says kai ha theos in ha logos. Okay, that's from the 8th or 9th century. You can see that in New Testament Greek manuscripts, arranged and edited by Reuben Swanson and forwarded by the great Greek scholar Bruce M. Meska. You can see that on page 1. Not Roman numeral, but just the actual number 1. You can see the variant readings of this verse on the page, that page. Okay, so theon is different from theos only in the sense that theon is in the accusative case. He's the object that's the object of the verb in John 1b, and theos is in the nominative case and as a predicate adjective. After that, there's no other difference. Okay, it's functioning differently, but there is no difference theologically. It's not that one God, okay, is greater than the other God. There is no meson here, or meson or meson. There's no, there's none of that. That came after the incarnation, not before. Even protos mu was not even mentioned in the lips of our Lord, like John the Baptist said that of Jesus in himself. Okay? That Jesus was before him, protos mu. Jesus never said that of the Father. And you see that recorded, what John said in verse 15 of this chapter 1. Protos mu, for he was before me. Now, after that's another ain and ha and logos, and that's about it. So the full Greek construction goes something like this, and I'll tune off. I'll turn it off for now. Okay, my English is getting hideous here in the Philippines, I'm telling you. And it's a preposition. Arche is a Greek noun in the dative case. So you see the little tiny I underneath the N-looking letter, which is not an N, it's an E, like in vowel, like in the word they. And it's showing you the dative case, the case of interest. You have three cases here in Greek. You have your dative case, arche, your accusative case in theon, and then your nominative case in theos and logos. Okay, there's three cases, 3 of the 5 cases, or if you want to get down to it, 3 of the 8 or 7. Okay. So basically, and then ain is a Greek word that means was, is in the imperfect tense. So it's the aspect is continuous, it's a linear aspect, it's a continuous thing going on. It's an ongoing action. There are differences between action words and stated verbs, but this is showing you the status of logos, that he continuously existed throughout or subsisted throughout time and eternity. And then the article ha is in the nominative case, nominative singular masculine construction. Logos is in the masculine singular nominative construction also. The stem is laga, that contains the meaning. So the meaning is contained in the stems laga, thea, with an omicron, and so that's just a deal. And the Greek word kai is a connecting word. It's conjunction. It's a copulative connective, and it's translated and, right? And you see ha logos again. Logos, incidentally, is found 330 times in the Greek New Testament. And you have ain again, and then you have pros, the second preposition here. So it's 2 prepositions of the 17 or so, whatever. And then you have ton, the second form of the article is here, right? Another form of the article is here, ton. And then you have theon. So theon is in the accusative case, which has to do with limitation. Theos and logos are in the nominative case that has to do with designation. That's a different thing. Okay? So the accusative kind limits as to, the accusative case limits as to extent, and the genitive case limits as to kind, what kind of a heart, what kind of a kingdom, to quote Emmanuel Grammar of the Greek New Testament again. Now the reason why I like that manual, okay, now it is sort of beyond the basics also, it gets to the basics but also beyond the basics. Because that manual tells you, it gives you the descriptions of the cases, okay? Now, I already told you that I was going to tell you something about other manuals. I mean, Mouse's Basics of Biblical Greek is superb. And then also Beyond the Basics by Dan Wallace is really also very great. C.A.T. Robinson's also a Greek manual, and there are other manuals as well. That's it for now. This is Angelo Quinones giving glory to God the Father, to the Lord Jesus Christ, and in the Holy Spirit. God is not the God of the dead, but of the living, of the not of the Necron, but of the Zontom, and that means that they were very much alive, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, at the time when Jesus said that. Okay, and they're alive right now. Then he returned to Bethsarin, the house of the princes. You understand what I'm saying? Built and made by by the witnesses. And some trees really, and I don't know, I think the trees outside kind of, the branches really scare me there. I mean, you see, stop it, guys. The Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob were going to come back in Bethsarin, the house of the princes in California, and why not come back to New York? You understand what I'm saying? It's kind of ridiculous, you know. And there were 2 Cadillacs with 6 cylinders a pop in Bethsarim, the house of the prince. Beth means house, like Bethlehem, right? And Sarim means princess, is in the plural, because of the the yod and the mem, right? Bethsarim, house of the princes. I mean, come on. But that wasn't the house of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. He lived in it himself and died of cancer, and then he sold the joint. Now, if Abraham was really going to come, why are they going to sell it? Why are they going to sell the house? Why are the Jehovah's Witnesses, a Watchtower, and Bible Traction Shady? Why they sell the joint? If they were going to come back, I thought the light was getting brighter and brighter. Oh, but if that light in you is darkness, how great is that darkness? You see? Don't give me this excuse that, we made a mistake saying that nobody was going to go to the moon and 24 people did because the light is getting brighter and brighter. No, because if that information that you initially said was darkness, it wasn't light. So it couldn't get brighter and brighter. It wasn't even bright. It was darkness. Unless you're talking about Light Bright by Mattel or something like that. Take care, guys. Bye-bye now. Now, please subscribe to my channel and leave a comment on the screen, and especially that, and leave a thumbs up. I really appreciate that because it'll help circulate the channel. Okay, thanks, guys. Pray for me because I think your prayers are retroactive, and God can honor that and even affect what happens several months before, like this typhoon. Oded. It sounds like my friend Obed, XJW. Oded, Odette, or whatever that typhoon is. I mean, whatever this typhoon is. Yeah, I mean, this is amazing. I mean, John 1:1, the full Greek construction during the typhoon. Oh man, you can't make it up. Okay, guys, take care. Bye now. Bye.